Okay, I can see myself. That's, in this situation, it should be a good thing. So now what we need to know is, do you have audio? Because I didn't hear the music just before. Just checking connections of the microphone. Yeah, that's looking good. Looking up, we see Lois. Hey, Lois, that's been a long time. Morning, Katara, Joey, Joe. There are 11 people. I'd love to know who they are. Oh, good. You can. Oh, excellent. Glad to hear you can hear me. As you can see, casual shirt. I briefly considered not shaving, but I couldn't do that to you guys. Steve, welcome. Good to see you in the chat room. Tristan. Hi, Tristan. Tristan. Oh, Jesus. Early in the morning. I got to get my enunciation right. So who else have we got? So that's Lois, Steve, Joey, Tristan, Lucas. Good morning, Lucas, Katara, and Joey, right? So there's a few more lurking. That's okay. You can lurk. I have no issue with that. So what are we going to do? We're going to test this new system. I think it looks different for you guys as well, doesn't it? I mean, there's a few of you who have done webinars with me before, and I'm just wondering, does it look different to you? Do you remember what it looked like previously? I must say it's been easier for me to set up this time around, which is good news. I should be able to, this time around, should be able to play slideshows without having to do a... Simon, excellent. Good morning, Simon. Good to see you. So I'm going to see if I can get the webinar schedule. That's not what I was intending. No, it's not what I meant. Okay, that's the schedule. Oh, what's that? That bloody thing. It's interpreting the characters. That's funny. So the webinar system interprets the characters that are embedded in the presentation, but it's actually interpreting them differently. They are supposed to be what do you call them? Font icons. Yeah, and it's replaced it with images. Nothing to do with that. Anyway, I think the next one doesn't have any images. So yeah, there we go. That's clear. So this is what I will be covering in the next half hour or so. I think we're going to be here for about 30 minutes. This is for the new students who are starting today. And that's Joey, Kalian, Lucas, Paula, Monica, Lanakia. And there may be a few more during this seminar. So we're going to talk about what you need to do, what you can expect, talk a bit about our team. We've got an amazing team in the background, and I have not praised them enough in the past, so I'll do it here. We'll talk about the present immersion odds, and Katara is one of them. She's also one of the team. Steve, you're also still doing immersion, I think. Yeah, we'll have a few things about the course as it is running. I'd like to hear your feedback. And we're going to talk about more scripts. Anyone interested? Because some people who finished the course said they wanted to continue at their own pace with more scripts. Well, there may be more scripts. Next steps. What do you do once you've finished immersion? I have mentioned a few things, but I'm going to focus on one in particular. That's our Story Cave next month, where we have 2 seats left still out of the 5 only that are available. And then I'm going to close today with a short chat about what it means to be writing with a career in mind, wanting to break in. Good. Let's see. Do you guys see me in the corner right? That's perfect. I love that. That's so much better than having me in the full picture. So I'll leave this screen up. I'm happy with that. Let's go back to the chat so I can see what you So yes, Steve is a rock star. Yeah, Simon, I can see that. A 4:3 aspect ratio. That is bizarre. That's the one thing that I'm not too happy about. What can I do about that? There must be. I have an inkling as to why this is. I'm using software called CamTwist that's in between the webinar software and my camera, and it does something to the feed. Yeah, I mean, before there was a test picture, which is worse, but I'll see what I can do with about that 4:3. Maybe not during this webinar, but I need to sort this out. Thanks for flagging that, Simon. I thought it was only at my end, but yeah, good. Lois says a lot crisper. I'll tell you why that is. Got a little camera, got a little webcam. Previously, I'd use the camera of my laptop, which was not so. It's good. It's better now because it's a different laptop, but it's even better, I guess, with an external webcam because that's what they're for. They're actually they compress the image before it goes out, and it's easier to process, less bandwidth and better picture. I think that's the deal. Okay, let's have a look what's going on. Emilia, welcome. Good to see you. First on the list, starting today, what do you do? Some of you have already purchased the course. Others have been waiting for today to launch. That's fine. I will talk you through what you need to do. I tested it last night and it works. So if you purchase the course today, you should be able to start right away. And I'm going to show you what happens. And for that, I need to share my screen once again. Let's see. So change here. Application window. Oh, okay. I need to open a different browser for that. We'll do it in Safari. And we'll share that window with you guys. And it was good to see that the system is still working because I spent a lot of time setting it up early this year actually, because last year we were on a different platform that was not as flexible as this one. Yeah, it took quite some time to get it right. I mean, it's not 100% still, but it never will be. So I'm going to share, as I said. There we go. So that is the from the site. I'm logged in here. That's not the ID. I'm going to log myself out because as you go to the site now, if you log out, you go to Facebook. Once you've purchased the course, it creates an account for you. And then you should be able to start straight away. So I did that last night. And the purchase confirmation you get to see. Let's see if I can find that image because I believe I saved it. I did save it, but the question is where. Yeah, and let's not waste time on finding that image now. But this is the page. You have to log out or just refresh. I think refresh should be fine. Yes. So now I'm logged out. This is the site for new students before they've purchased. Once you purchase, it creates an account for you with the email that you enter during your purchase. I'm going to log in with the email I used, and that's why people who were on the site this morning may have seen a double. Now, the question is, what password did I use for that? A different one, that's for sure. Okay, so how did it log me in back then? So if you lost your password, it's easy to get it back. Just click the. Maybe you should go through that because this is so funny because it happens all the time. And it's probably one of the issues that our team has been busy with more so in the last course, which was a bit oversubscribed at the time. All right, so then I'm going to try and log in with a new password. Guys, you have to go through this. This is live. And often we spend more time on this sort of little annoyances than on the job itself. As you know, that's why we don't get any writing done, because this sort of life gets in the way. Okay, so email is there. That system works really well. So the password reset, email has already arrived. I'm resetting my password now. Keep it simple so you can all guess it. Save. Oh, that's got to be the same. Okay. All right, in that case, I will keep it. Oh, no, it's fairly strict. So you've got to pick a strong password or it will not accept. Okay, medium. I'm in now. So I'm resetting the password and then I can show it to you guys again. All right, so you see this. Login. Username is just the email address as before. My new password and cross fingers. Yes, we're in. And look, that's the other me. So you don't need to do this because once you have purchased, you're in. So you have magically created a password. Don't ask me how this works. And then you go to all courses, or you go to my courses. My courses, because at that point you are subscribed to the Immersion course. There we go. Creative Screenwriting is open. See, it's so good that we go through this process now, so I can prove to you that it works. So creative screenwriting is the first stage. Reverse screenwriting is the second stage. Immersion is the third stage. So no, it's the other way around. I know you guys, Joe and Katara are sitting there. No, it's the other way around. You're right, immersion is the first. Don't ask me why they're in this order. So we start with immersion. There we go. And it says in progress. 1 out of 34 steps completed because last night I clicked one here. One of these 2 topics, screenplay format. Good. All right, so I'm going to break just for a sec to see if you're all with me still. Lois says, I have to change my password every time I try and log in. Because you forget it each time, Lois. Okay. Oh, so you're with me still. That's good. So this is the screen you get once you're into the first stage, which is immersion. I have not revealed the script titles. So they're a little surprise each time. You unwrap a little new package every 5 days. And I'll confess a secret. I'm a little bit OCD. That's one of the reasons why we start on the 1st of September. September is a month with 30 days, which means that we have a new script on the 5th, on the 10th, on the 15th, on the 20th, and it goes for 2 months like that. And the 3rd month doesn't work anymore, but then you're almost at the end of that stage. So you've got a new script today, and I can reveal to you what that script is. So, but you can basically best read through the instructions first, because I see that some people in previous classes have skipped that. That's not the idea. So read about screenplay format. Once you've done that, you do mark complete. And then, you can leave a comment there. That's great. And you go to the next topic. Oh, you can click here, next topic in this lesson. So there's 3 stages. Each stage has a few lessons. Each lesson has a few topics. So the scripts, here we go. Oops, there they are. Oh, no, this is something else. I thought I was revealing the 20 scripts. These are the scriptorium scripts. These are the scripts you need to pick one from that you're going to hand copy. If you have an issue, you get easy RSI from writing the hand because you're not used to doing that anymore. You can type, but then we ask you to use a particular format. All that's in the course. So just read through this, take your pick, then you do mark complete, and that should get you automatically to the next topic. Let's see if that works. There we go. Yes, the lectorium. So this is your first main chunk of work. So you are going to read 20 scripts in 100 days. It's a fun exercise, but it will indeed consume a lot of time initially. because you need to learn how to read scripts. As a result of the trial, we did a trial with 200 students. We figured out a best approach to this, to keep a good pace, good momentum, and not get discouraged. All right. So day one, you're not going to finish the script. You're going to read only 30 to 35 pages, which, keeps a little bit of appetite still for the next day. Next day, you read 50 to 60. Day 3, you read the final few pages. Day 4, you write a summary, synopsis, and a logline. And on day 5, you write your report, or you finish your synopsis if you still need to. And so in that way, it becomes very manageable. But you must do something every day. So you must commit some time to it. And if it's broken down like this, you can see that it is very possible to do one script every 5 days. First script is a short one, so that they'll get you into it more easily. It is a TV script. I'm going to show you which one that is in a minute. Let's go to the next topic. Here we go. So here's some advice on reading. Maybe you want to print them. I know people who've actually printed the scripts, and that's fine. Trees are farmed these days for paper, I understand. So I've been told that you're actually helping the environment by buying paper. Then you're writing the synopsis. Now, there's a whole list of instructions. You can safely ignore that. And I think that's one of the purposes of this webinar. I want to show you which parts are important, which parts are not so important. The most important is that you write a synopsis, that you write a summary of the story. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, if you're trying to do it perfect, you're doing the wrong thing. So just write the best synopsis in the time you have available. And if that time is only half an hour, then that's what it is. And then you move on to the next. Now, I added an example for Nightcrawler, and that's, I think, very useful, just to give you an idea of how you can summarize and what level of detail you need to include in a synopsis. That synopsis is part of a bigger package. There's a checklist. Again, you can ignore that checklist for now. As you become more proficient in writing synopses, you can set yourself a few more targets, and then you may go to that checklist and try and get it right. In terms of Nightcrawler, that's one of the scripts. If you don't have it yet, I'll give you a link to it during this webinar, because in the first few runs of Immersion, that script was emailed out to the students beforehand. This time, I will give it to you during the webinar. So that's one of the benefits of having registered today. So we're going to mark that one complete, and that brings us to the next topic. I'm not going to go through the whole course like this. Don't worry about it. Here, how you write a logline. Same story here. Don't get it perfect. Just get it written. As it becomes easier to writing these one sentence summaries, you can try and perfect yourself by following this checklist, but you don't have to. Okay, we're going to the lesson. So rather than going to the next topic here, because there's 3 more topics in this first lesson, I'm going back to the lesson. And it's probably not going to allow me to go to the next lesson, because you need to complete the lesson before you can go there. But let's see if we can get access to script 1. So you see what that first script is. I may have to mark Lectorium complete. We're testing the system here again. Some of you may know what's going to happen now because you've done that. You've been there. There it goes. Go back, complete the previous lesson. So you have to check off all the topics before you're allowed into the next lesson. So before you start reading the script, you need to know how to read it. You need to know what the purpose is. So yes, we're going to mark off the topic that says write a logline, and then the reports, and upload the materials. So mark complete. And I'm going through the motions 2 more times, and then we should get access to our first screenplay. And then you'll see what that is. There we go. So do read through it. Here we go. So this is it. Breaking Bad, the pilot screenplay. 58 pages only. So you should be able to read that in one day. Maybe try and set yourself that habit of breaking them up. So read half today, process it, maybe write some notes instead of reading the whole script and then forgetting tomorrow. So read half of the script, make some notes on that first half. That'll make it so much easier when you're writing the synopsis. So that's it. There is no more to it than reading the script, writing the synopsis, the logline, and the report, and then you're going to upload this here. So you choose wherever your file sits, you upload it, and it'll be in the system, it'll be marked off, and then you can go to the next script. However, that script will not be available to you until 5 days from now. That's the smart thing. That's the way this course is set up. I'm going back to the course page. Here we go. Immersion Screenwriting, and that should have that overview of the steps. And it shows you on what day, what date these scripts will be available. So script 2 will be available on September 5th, and then every 5 days. And you're okay, those final 5, what's happening with those? Why is there no date? Need to look into that. There's a quiz every 5 scripts. There's a quiz that relates to the 5 scripts that you've read. Very simple. I think 1 question per script only. Now, I'd like you also to tell us about your progress. You can do that on the Facebook group. We're going to allow you into the student group. We're going to talk about those groups in a minute. But also great is just socialize here. You click on Immersion Notes. That's where your fellow students reside. You can see some faces in the background. You see what people do, so what they have achieved, and you can give them a like, leave a comment. If you have technical issues, there's a forum. So you go to the forum here, Creative Screenwriting, and Mukul Kandara, who is our technical whiz, he will help you out with any technical issues there. So just write in the forum what your technical issue is. Any other stuff that's more relating to the screenplays, the way the course is set up, just post that on the Facebook group, because there will be most likely someone else who had the same question as you, and they will help you. And if there's no one, then one of our angels will help you. Speaking of which, that's our next topic in today's schedule. I want to talk about the team. Unless there's any question, let's see if there's any questions about the way the course is set up and what you need to do. Is that all clear? Okay, Joey, you're having issues with the image. Can you still hear me? Because we should be able to... the web page is frozen. I see. Okay, so you couldn't see what I was doing here. Okay, browser stream's frozen. This end. Yeah. Okay. Now, if that will become an issue, I mean, you could technically replay the webinar and do what I'm doing by clicking, and it'll sort itself out. As you navigate through the website, you can see what it was that I saw during this presentation. So hopefully that'll help you. Yeah, thank you, Tristan. That's good to know. Sorry about that. Yeah, sound is working. Yeah, thank you, Katara. And that's, as I said, that's critical. Yeah, okay. Let's see if it resets itself. If I stop the sharing and go back to, okay, that's the webcam. Going back to our schedule. There we go. So, you know what to do? Behind the scenes are our angels. The angel fish, as we called them initially, as we had the theme of the fishbowl. The angels are Joe and Katara and Gabe. And there are more. I mean, there's a few hardcore students. Jesse is also helping out every now and then. And they assist me with the day-to-day running of the course. Pretty much they do everything there is in terms of communications with the students. And only rarely do I step in. And thank you so much, guys. You are true heroes, true immersionauts. You can contact them by just posting your issue on the Facebook group. Joe, Katara, or Gabe will pick up on it and respond there. If they don't, within, say, 24, 48 hours, you can contact them directly or just ping them. And if you can do that by in your message on Facebook. So you just post your issue on the group, you include their name in your text, and then they will get a notification. So you don't even need to direct message them. You can just contact them by including their name in your query. So I think that is the most important. Am I forgetting anything here in terms of how you guys work, Katara and Joe? Kathinka is one of our angels as well. That's right. And Kathinka and Jesse, I believe, are in different time zones. So if you are in Europe, then they may be the ones that are awake. If you are posting to us in your early afternoon, for instance, or your lunchtime when Australia's gone to bed. Yes, Lois, they are wonderful angels indeed. Angels are insane. Well, that's from the mouth of an angel. So, good. Immersion notes. So we've talked about that. What I wanted to say, in addition to the social aspects of our course site, is about the Facebook groups. And we have worked on Facebook now for over a year, since July last year, and it's become a bit unwieldy. At some point we had, I think, like 5 different course groups, and then the general group that you all know about. So here's how I see it. And I'm going to use the analogy of the school. When you come in, you're in what we used to call the Get Ready group. That's the biggest group. We had, I think we've over 500 members there. That's the Immersion Screenwriting General Welcome group. That's the playground. So the gates open, anyone can walk in and just look around, see who's there, and get a feel for what immersion is. That's our playground. It's not a class. The class is where you go once you've enrolled. So, for instance, Joey and Lucas have enrolled. So we're going to direct them to the classroom. And Steve is already in the classroom and Katara's in the classroom. So they've been taking the course over the past few months. Now, I'm building on immersion. Immersion is an ongoing process. We started a year ago and we're refining it, and I hope we're improving it. Now, in terms of Facebook, we're going to the next step where I'll be doing webinars like these, hopefully more often. And I want to make them easier to you. Signing up for a webinar like this, it's not hard, but for some people, it's still too hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to stream these to Facebook. And we've done this in the past when we had tons of registrations, and I had a lot of pressure in case anything would go wrong here, as it does, as you guys see, that something freezes. Sometimes something freezes, or the feed drops altogether. Hopefully that won't happen today. But then I had the Facebook live feed as a backup. And I did a webinar there only a few months ago on log lines, and we had a tremendous response. In fact, as a result of that, I was hired to teach in Sydney at the International Film School Sydney about log lines. So it's kind of fun. So this live feed, this Facebook live feed is important. And that's going to that new page that I've created, which is the boardroom. You can consider that the school's boardroom, or the teacher's room. That's where the announcements are made. That's where I'll be running the webinars. Today we don't have that there. It still needs to be set up. So 3 areas there where you can go on Facebook. There's the playground. That's the welcome group, 500 members. Then there's your classroom. We will direct you there. You'll get the link to that. And then there's the boardroom where presentations are given, such as this one, in a way that is, once you're in, then it's easier to go there rather than have to register. And the feed is also fairly reliable. So that's how the social aspect on Facebook works. If you're not on Facebook, you should still be able to communicate with us either via email or via the forums on the website, or just by posting messages. You can do that there as well. You don't have to go to the forum, as you saw in the Immersion Note section of the site. Good, more scripts. Is there anyone on the stream right now who has not registered yet? Do we have prospect students who have not put down the money to start the course, who are interested in starting today? Then I want to know, because I have this bonus for you. If you do sign up within, say half an hour from me making you this offer, then you will get a bonus screenplays. Now, the selection, I'd like to talk a little bit about the selection of these 20 scripts, because that is the core of the class. That's the Tristan, good. So I'm speaking to you now, Tristan. To some people, it may look like, oh, but I have to pay $200 US for 20 scripts. That's a scam, because you cannot sell screenplays online. First of all, screenplays are not to be shared at all if it's not for educational purposes. So if all I'm giving to you is 20 screenplays, then where's the value? Well, first of all, these 20 scripts are picked from a selection of over 2,000 that I've assembled over the years. And Kalian, you haven't signed up yet either. I'm going to hunt you down because I know where you live, or just which city you live in. So these scripts are picked from a vast pool of screenplays, and the criteria are as follows, because everyone has got different tastes. The most important thing here is that you learn a style. You learn a range of styles. You see what sort of scripts have been successful in terms of getting made or having been picked up. Is that how you say it? So they're first of all, they're good stories. They're successful films. They may be small successes, but a small success, I consider small success when there's still a significant return on investment. So you can have a small film that's still hugely successful in its own realm, on its own scale. And we have the favorite script of the course is one of those. It's a small film. It was nominated for Best Picture, but never did huge box office. But it's almost invariably the favorite screenplay of the reader. So that script was picked on its power. It's a very, very powerful screenplay, but it's also beautifully executed. And I think that, to me, is criteria number 2. What do I mean by beautifully executed? Style. These days, the trend, if you want to be read, if you want to break in with a script, is a lean style. So I have favorite scripts that have a crisp, transparent style where you see a lot of white on the page, which means you have your dialogue and you have minimal description, but that description is so tight. Everything you need is there. And it's deceptive because, you read these scripts and, oh yeah, they're good stories. But it's only by comparing them to not so successful screenplays that you can see what the value is. And these 20 scripts are based primarily on those 2 criteria. Third criteria is a mix of genres, because some people hate horror. Qatar, I'm looking at you now. And that's fine. I had a horror screenplay, a straight horror, a hardcore horror movie in there, and the responses were not too positive. That was an unproduced screenplay. It had amazing reviews, and I thought it had a place in Immersion. I took it out, replaced it with another still genre film, but I think a lot more fun to read. So that's it. That was a third criteria. And as you see, as I get feedback, not from individual students, but general feedback to the screenplays, every now and then it'll still be improved. So that's the idea behind the 20 scripts. Now, Immersion is more than just reading scripts. There's a second stage where what I call reverse screenwriting. And over the years of teaching face-to-face in classrooms, I've noticed that this is arguably the most effective exercise, practical exercise, where you transcribe images on the screen to screenplay format, which is, if you think about it, the exact brain process you will be doing when you write creatively, when you're transposing or translating your own creative images into script format. So in order to develop that skill, here you have a finished film. So you look at the image and then translate that into a script. And the good thing about that is there already is that script, so you can compare how you did. Obviously, keep in mind, there may be a different style. The writer of the screenplay that you do reverse screenwriting for may look different from what you've written, and that's fine. Maybe they're even leaner than you, or maybe they're a little bit more wordy. I don't, for that reason, I can tell you right off the bat, I don't have a Quentin Tarantino screenplay in there. I don't think I do. From memory, I don't have a Quentin Tarantino in the reverse screenwriting part. Joe, yeah, you loved that horror script, didn't you? But yeah, you already said it. You're insane. Joey says, I would have liked to see the horror. Okay, but I said more scripts. You're signing up today, Joey. I am... Oh, no, you've already signed up. For people who are in today or sign up, I'm going to give you 5 extra scripts. Okay? So I'll make sure that script that you missed out on, Joey, that's not in the course, you will get that. Okay? So you'll get 4 more. And I'm not going to give everyone a different set, but we're going to decide right now. So I'm going to leave it open. You can vote for what you want to see and what you want to read. If I have them, I will include them and I will make them available to you. Send them via email after this webinar. So why don't you, Tristan, if you're signing up, this is your chance. If there's a script you would love to read, and I have it in my mix, in my pool, and it's not part of the course, I will give that to you as a bonus. So this is not some prefabricated bonus. This is, I hope, value for you guys. So those are the extra scripts. I did promise Nightcrawler, and I'm going to do that now. I'm going to share the Nightcrawler script with you. There we go. You should be able to download that. It should be in your sidebar now. Can you confirm that you can see it? Can you see the Nightcrawler script there? So that's not one of the 5. I'll give you an additional 4 to that to the horror film. The horror script's called A Rose in the Darkness. Yeah, A Rose in the Darkness. Great read, if you can stomach it. All right, so while I leave Nightcrawler there, but I'd like to see confirmation. So I downloaded. Good, excellent. So that worked. Now, there's you may have noticed there's about a 30-second delay between the moment I say something and the moment it reaches you. So the video is processed. In the meantime, the chat is instant. So you will have seen that downloader before I mentioned it. Good, excellent, Tristan, so you got that too. Brilliant. Yeah, Nightcrawler, by the way, Katara, I agree. Nightcrawler is amazing. And I want to tell you a little anecdote here. I read Nightcrawler before the movie came out. It was my favorite screenplay in a very long time. And so much so that I did not want to see the movie. I had this feeling that the movie could not possibly be as good as the screenplay. Tony Gilroy wrote it, and this is a warning here, guys. Do not look at Nightcrawler. Yes, Carly-Ann, you can download it later. You cannot look at Nightcrawler as an example of how you should write. This is one to read for fun, okay? So do not look at this script as one. It's deliberately not part of the 20. It's a fun read. But this is where you may get in 20 years of successful screenwriting. Tony Gilroy is arguably one of the most successful screenwriters in the world, director as well. And he can get away with it. He's developed his own style. And if you write a lot, you will get there too. But this, stylistically speaking, it's not necessarily an example. But I'd be stoked if you get there in 10 or 15 years. So let me know what other scripts you want. Otherwise, I just send you the horror one. That's fine. So no other requests there. No. Next steps. We're going a little bit longer than the half hour I'd anticipated. That's great. We can wrap up in about 5 minutes. So there's the cave workshop. A few words on that in a minute. But once you've completed your screenplay, and this is for the current students as well, first of all, make sure you do complete it, because that it will still be the yes, Joey, you can request now if you wish. Finish a screenplay. It's the hardest thing to do. That's why this course was designed. I had been teaching for 10 years. Students loved the courses. I ended the story series, which ran for 7 years. I ended on a high. I had 30 paying students. It was amazing. It was a fantastic experience. But what frustrated me was the low ratio of people who actually finished screenplays after the course. And I saw that as a failure. So that's where I started thinking about a course that forces you to complete a script. And that's what Immersion does. So once you're in creative screenwriting, it's the end of the course. And you know how, it feels like the law of diminishing returns and you've worked hard. But I hope that you've developed a routine and you have worked steadily, and then you can complete that script in 30 days. That's the idea. Event Horizon, so let's see if I've got that one. If I have it, I will send it to you. At first sight, I don't seem to have it, but I'll have another look. Finish the screenplay, let it rest. Next step, reread it after a month or 2 months. And you should read it in the same spirit as you've read the 20 screenplays, because those screenplays are of a certain standard. If you can get yourself back into that mindset, maybe you should read your bonus scripts. Maybe that's a good next step. So you've finished your creative screenwriting stage. You finished your first draft. We call it the vomit draft of your own script. Let it rest. While you let it rest, you read a few more other screenplays. Then go back to your own, and you'll have that benchmark. So that's one thing I'd recommend to do. Then you rewrite it. And only after a rewrite, maybe 2, you show it to someone else. Maybe 2 people. And you'll find people within our community, within our Immersion community, there's tons of people who are willing to read each other's screenplays and get their feedback. You let it rest. Don't immediately do whatever they recommend. You rewrite it. And then you may go to a script analyst, like myself, or the story doctor, who's an entry-level service I recommend. These are people that are trained by myself, but you pay less. So I recommend you try that service and see what the professional feedback is they give you. And maybe after a few months of work on that script, you could ask me to have a read. Once you're really committed to developing yourself, your writing skills, and don't forget, all what I teach is not it is specific to screenwriting. It's not unique to screenwriting. Those who've done the story series know that there's a lot of pure writing technique, writing and storytelling in general, structural principles that apply to any sort of storytelling. So you are developing your writing. If you're serious about that, if you want to step up quickly, you might want to do an intensive workshop. And the story cave, the mountain cave, as I sometimes call it, is one of those opportunities. We go to the Blue Mountains for 4 days and 4 nights. We work intensively on one project. We had someone work on 2 projects last time. That is very demanding, but one project's fine. And what I work with you on is to walk out of there with at least a refined outline. That can be a 1-page synopsis or a 4-page synopsis, and one scene, a polished scene. So that allows us to work on your storytelling skills, on your structure, and on your writing style. So we work on script, which is the execution on the page, but also story in general. That's what the cave does. We'll be there for 4 days. End of October, final weekend of October. I do it only twice a year, once in spring and once in autumn. It's the best time of the year in the Blue Mountains. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's gorgeous. And we're in a ranch, a horse ranch that I've hired for this opportunity. And on the Friday, so it runs from Wednesday to Sunday. So we arrive Wednesday afternoon, leave Sunday afternoon. And right in the middle, we have our break. We go for a horse ride. A lot of fun. We did it 3 times. And Joe's coming with us again. Katara's coming with us. We have Jane signed up. And Octavia was also considering, and I haven't heard back from Octavia, but there's only 5 spots and 3 have been taken and paid, so there's only 2 left. So if you're in for that, I wouldn't recommend it to people who are starting immersion today. This is something you need to do further down the track, maybe next year, maybe the year after. But I have a few people in mind that are on the webinar right now that I think would be good people to do this, and you probably know I'm talking to you. Good. That's about the next steps. Was that the whole? Oh, yeah, I was going to say something about amateur versus pro. I had a long phone conversation with a long-time client. He's a very successful businessman. He's got a lot of money. His greatest love is storytelling. The first time I met with him was on a pitch event where 13 people pitched to a producer, and he was one of the top 3. He was, to this day, is the only one who's pursued his craft. He had a great story, has been developing and perfecting that, but he's not breaking in, and he is getting frustrated. Had another student, and Chris, I think you'll be watching the replay of this webinar because you registered for it. You sent me a letter, basically the same voice, the same message. I've been putting in so much effort, so much energy, and I'm not seeing any results. And I've written an article about it that basically says, if you truly love writing, that's just what you do, and you allow for the opportunities to come to you. And it's almost like stock market investing. You just continue investing on the right stock, and sooner or later that stock will rise because the market goes up. That's how it works. Your skills will improve and improve as you write. And the thing is, you don't notice. You don't know. I have another client that I've worked with now for about 2.5 years who's getting frustrated. And 2.5 years is not that long in our industry, really. And I invited him to look at the first script he came to me with and compare that to his last. It was a world of difference. His skills had skyrocketed. But when you are the person writing, you don't notice. Someone needs to tell you. So you're improving. And you're improving on many levels. You're getting a better insight in story. You're getting a better insight in character, in people. You can read events in the real world on a different level. So I really see that screenwriting is not just about breaking into Hollywood. It is so much bigger. And I see this with 95% of people that I encounter. They all agree that it has enriched their lives in a very fundamental way. Now, if you want to break in, if your only goal is to earn a living from screenwriting and you want to be a pro, there's one thing that you have to do that you may not have done, and it is very scary, and it is going full time. It's tough, and not everyone is in a financial position to do it. But if you are, you have no reason to complain that you didn't break in if you did not try it full time, because you are up competing against people who are doing just that, who have built their skills up to a point where they are ready to compete with others. But if you're not working full time, you still have that disadvantage from all those others that are spending every waking moment to that. And this business person that I was talking about, he is one of those. He has been writing as a hobby with a glass of wine only in the evening and weekends. If he wants to sell his screenplay, if he wants to be truly professional, he needs to drop everything else. And that's a tough message, but I do believe that's the truth. All right, and that's what I wanted to share with you guys here. Look at screenwriting as something that will elevate your understanding of life, your understanding of story. And if you want to put everything in to make it in an earning proposition, then at some point you need to go full time. That's what I believe. When that moment is, you have to make that call. That was my rant today, guys. I hope there was any sense in that, and don't know whether it applies to any of you, but it was two people over the past 48 hours only who came to me with that. So Joey, the cost of the story cave. Okay, yeah, Joey, I will get back to you on that. The cost is $1,850 Australian, but for people who are on the webinar today, I can give you the early bird, which is $1,500, and that's not US dollars this time around. It's $1,500 Australian, includes everything, includes the actual time with me, because every day rather, participants will sit with me and we'll go through your work. It includes the accommodation, it includes all the meals, not the horse ride. That's $50 extra. But hey, listen, if you sign up today, I'll throw that in. So that's the cost. Joey, if you need more details, I have the detailed schedule, and that's also on the website. I can direct you there. Actually, I could put that in now. I think that is it. Let's see. Yes, that's the link of. It's now in the chat box. So there you have the details. At the very bottom of that page, the small print says download a more detailed provisional schedule from here. That is the schedule. Wednesday to Sunday, you'll see exactly what we're doing hour to hour. Good, so we've got 2 spots left, and after this webinar, I will get in touch with Octavia. If she signs up, as she said she would, then we'll only have 1. So you need to act quickly there. Good, that was it. I see 5 minutes from the top of the hour, so we went a little bit longer. Any questions? I'd love to answer them. As I said in my email to you guys, this is casual. Ask me anything screenwriting related, and I can see if I can answer it. There used to be a way of asking questions specifically rather than just type something in the chat. Oh yeah, you can mark your chat as a question. So once you've typed it in, you can mark it as a question. Okay, that seems good. I don't think there's any questions there. Joe, thank you for plugging it. I appreciate it. But you're the one who knows about it because you've done it several times. Yes, Joey, you get Nightcrawler +5 actually. So you get Nightcrawler and you get Rose in the Darkness and you get 4 more. I'll go looking for Event Horizon. Maybe give me a few more options. Tristan, I'd like to sign you up today. Just tell me what script you love and I'll see if I can throw that in. Okay, I'm going to end with a link to the course just to make it easy to you guys. No, that's not it. That's where you can sign up. I do actually have a specific... Oh, I've got a request here. Lucas. Lucas, you put up a request to speak. Now, this is new to me. Do you want to type it in the chat? Okay, I've actually granted you the request to speak. I think that means that you can join the webcam. And I don't mind if you want to do that. It's open to you. So here's the offer. Immersion with 5 bonus scripts. That'll stay after this. After the webinar ends for about half an hour. Let me go back to chat. Okay, so Steve. Hang on. So Lois asked the next cave. So the next cave is end of October. Yeah. So after that, it won't be until March or April next year. Steve asks, which of the services mentioned would be best for a script you're looking to shoot yourself? Good question. If you're talking feature, it depends on what level of feedback you've had, Steve. If it's the first feedback you're after, I would go Story Doctor, because chances are that you will need to do another rewrite. I'd love to read it before you shoot, but I know that if this is going to be if this is the first external feedback you're going to get, you will have to rewrite it. And my team is pretty good. They will pick up the major stuff that I would pick up. So I'd say come to me before you shoot it. But if this is your first external feedback, then save a few bucks and go to the Story Doctor. I'll see if I can put the Story Doctor. Okay, that's a link. If you go there, it'll say something about unsafe, but it isn't. I just need to change you need to go to advanced and then proceed. You know what? I'll type in the proper. I've got the proper link here. Hang on. The Story Doctor, which is entry level screenplay feedback. This is the link. So the other one you can ignore. See if I can delete it. Yes, can delete it. Gone. Steve, I hope that answers your questions, or your question rather. Because when you're shooting yourself, you gotta cut costs. You just have to be extremely cost conscious. At the same time, it's also a massive gamble of your time and resources to dedicate to the shooting of a feature film. So there you also have to mitigate the risk. And I see that the script development early stage is the best way of reducing the risk of, basically losing everything. So you've had feedback from other collaborators. We need independent referee. Still, Story Doctor is your place to go. Yeah. And maybe there's a few more people within Immersion still that want to read it to give you some idea. Good, we're going to wrap it up, unless I've got a last minute sniper question coming in there, but I don't think we do. Okay, I'm just looking I want to end in beauty with a nice end screen. I'll just drop out, and I've got that lined up there. Good. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. It was the most casual webinar I've ever done. I'm happy with how things went. Sorry about that presentation of the actual website that froze. Oh, Tristan, you had a question. I'll wait. So what is your question? Lois says she might have 360 pages down to 200 by... I am not going to read 200 pages. I know I charge extra for extra pages over 120, but 200. There was a request from the Writers Guild recently for me to read a screenplay, and I sent it back because it was 195 pages. And yes, they do pay for extra pages, but there's really not a lot of use. So Tristan asks, how does the course schedule work? I'm away for a fortnight in October. Okay, yeah, good. I'm trying to. It's a good question. It's also a meaty question. I'll try and keep it short. First 100 days, you read 20 scripts. So if you're going to be away a fortnight in October, that's within the 100 days. So the most important thing is to keep track and to make sure you finish the 100 scripts within those 100 days. So you've got a little bit of leeway. The thing is, you cannot run ahead. You cannot not read ahead, because I know people will burn out. If you read 5 scripts in the first week, you will burn out. You cannot continue that. So you can catch up later. So download whatever you have, take it with you maybe. So at least you can do something. You can continue your daily writing, your daily hand copying. I traveled for 2 weeks when I had a similar course where I also had to hand copy, and I just took that work with me and did it every day. It actually was quite nice. Yes, the first 100 days reading, and hang on, you need to write the synopsis and the reports. So you've got 5 days for each script. See whatever you can do, but a fortnight you can catch up. It is possible. Other people have done it, but other people have caught up on a whole month, but I wouldn't recommend that. Yeah, it is writing. So the hand copying, I would definitely take that with me. You don't need access to the website on a daily basis. So the only thing is, during 2 weeks, you will not be able, if you don't have a web access, it means you won't be able to download, 3 scripts. So you may be behind by 2.5 by the time you get back. So 5 days, it's 15 days, 3. Yeah, Joe's right. Even if you do a little a day, it will help. And the hand copying is just about keeping that daily routine. Do something. Do not excise the screenwriting out of your life. The course must be there. It has to be, niggling in your mind. Joe's right. By then you should be getting the hang of it pace-wise. So you should be able to organize your time fairly well. So after a month, you feel how it works. Katara says, I started this course the day before heading out into the desert. The first 2 weeks of the course was a road trip camping in the US. Found it fun. Yeah, great. Awesome. Good. We've been going for an hour. Time to say have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for joining us. The offer will stay there for those who haven't signed up to the course yet. Tristan, hope to see that email come in soon. If you have a question, you can email me still. I'll be here for a few more hours. And for the others, hopefully, I might see you in the mountains. Katara and Joe, I will see you in the mountains. Thanks for joining. Great weekend. See you later. Bye.